Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You're seeing me way overexposed right now because we're sitting at my dining room table under this amazing lighting. And I'm going to show you a problem we're having with the cluster just sitting on the table waiting for surgery. In the last video, I mentioned that we had an issue with the cluster. Let me show you the problem I'm encountering in Magniform. This is the ground pad for the cluster, specifically for like the sensors and stuff. There's a whole leg of this which is specifically for sensors and stuff like coolant temp sensor, etc. It's also where our VSS and everything comes through for our speedometer and our RPMs. And I've noticed that I don't have continuity from this pad over here anymore. As you can see, it's a little cleaned up right here because I took a little bit of like steel wool and just tried to like expose it a little bit, clean it up, and I did a little bit here too to ensure I was getting continuity here. So let me see if I can get set up and I'll show you what's happening. You can see the pad very well and you can see the screw very well, and if you notice near that screw there is a minus symbol right here, and that indicates that this is the negative side or the ground. So if I turn on my multimeter here and we touch them together, you get an obnoxious beep sound. So if I do here and then come right about here, you'll notice it makes continuity. That's good. If I come over here, I get nothing. If I move it right about here, you're gonna notice all of a sudden I make continuity. That is because I believe that there's a break right here, ever so slightly. It's because when you bend it like this, you get nothing, and if you wiggle the cable, it kind of does this motion like this, and it makes continuity here. And this is after I already like pulled out the pin to make sure it was getting good continuity here. But as you can see, so what we're going to do is we're going to heat it up. We're going to put just a touch of solder right here. The other thing we have to do while we're here, we actually need to separate the face of this so we can do some repairs on the speedometer as well, because our speedometer just jumps around, and this is a known issue with these. I'm going to start with dissecting the cluster to get to the ECU part, and this part should be easy, and by easy I mean it's a 30-year-old cluster. It's a 30-year-old part, so of course we're gonna have issues, and I'm hoping I don't break it. Like everything else in this car, the plastics are probably kind of brittle. So we're gonna start with a flathead here, and in theory, you just push down on these tabs here, and they should just separate. I don't know, but so far so good. No, it just doesn't. I'm so confused. It just pulls off apparently. So there you go. There's your face, your viewfinder, your colors for your stuff. I'll set that over here in this pile of things. And then I believe from here there are the 3 screws on the back are for the speedometer piece, and that's what's holding it in. So we're gonna remove these 3 screws here and see if that releases the cluster like I think it does for the speedometer. And now our speedometer can come out of the car. And you can see, ta-da, we got this nice little hollowed out piece. So that could stay over here with the tuning computer and all that. And here on the back side, there is there's going to be some sort of socket and tab, I believe. So this should unplug just like that. And then if you look on the back, there should be some sockets. These 4 pins where the socket is, they should be kind of whatever. So what you should be doing is just touching up the sockets. I don't know if you can see all that, but I'll pause it and I'll circle them. So the board here, we're going to inspect the caps. Caps look fine. Everything here looks good. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat and do like resolder these. These actually don't look like the ones I saw in the video I watched, but we're still going to do it and just kind of reflow it and just make sure that it's communicating. If it's still jumping after this, then this might be toast, but whatever. And take the whole spin away, so about. I'm gonna go ahead and get this going. Not much to show you, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna watch some Jimmy Oaks and hammer it out. I'll cut back once we get to the next part. Alright, so I touched up a couple points on the board. Gave it a little bit of a alcohol swab, and then I realized that it kind of looks like maybe the caps have blown out and leaked somehow on the back side of the board. I'm not sure how that happens because there's crap all over the back side of this thing. It baffles me. So we might need to do a couple of things to fix this later if this doesn't fix it. So we'll keep looking into that. The tops of them don't look like they've busted. However, the bottoms, I don't know how that could have gotten all over the back of the board, because it does mount with the capacitors kind of to the side, so I don't think that that's quite the problem. But let me show you a quick little overview of what we did. Show you so the two there, two below my finger there, and two below my finger there. We also touched up this one and then one of the other ones I think over here. So now we're gonna put this back together here, and then we'll get it back ready to go back in the car. Then we will worry about the other problem we have. Alright, so that's one problem. Second problem is this pad. I just barely want to tap it. I don't need a lot of heat. Too much heat will melt this housing or even the thing itself, and we don't want any of that. Just ever so slightly. Kind of like that. I can smell it. It's hot. It's so, yeah. It stank. It stank. It stank. So now, in theory, now we got good continuity. So just to make sure that's to the other side, there's no short. Yeah. Okay, so that works. I'm not sure what all these other points go to specifically, but I know that this one was bad. So, just to show you what I did, that's it. I just needed to bridge the gap from this section to that section, and I just barely touched it. You don't want a lot because the connector does go over it like so. And yeah, if you break the trace right here, you're screwed. So you have to do this to kind of like make it work again. So in theory, that should fix all my cluster issues. The speedometer one, we won't know if it's fixed or not until we get the car rolling, which, I mean, it's driving, it works. We just got to finish a couple things. But we're going to drive it after this tomorrow when I get home from work. Now what we can do is we can go outside, plug it in, and try it and see if the coolant goes all the way to the top. Whenever that happens and you have your sensor plugged in and you have power to the cluster, and you don't have a ground, or the cluster's not grounded properly, it'll shoot up to the top immediately despite temperature. So in theory, if we go over to, or take it outside, plug it in, connect it, we should not see that go straight to the top anymore. Okay, so as of right now, we have the I have the cluster wiring down here on the floor instead of going up to the dash, so we can plug in our connections here easily and test. And that's how we found that the ground issue was occurring. So now that we got it plugged in, when I turn the key, this gauge should not go skyrocket because that's what it was doing before. So let's see what happens. Way better. And in theory, if we open the garage and turn this on, we should also have tack. So we didn't have tack before, so we should get our tack back. So we got our cluster back. That's sweet. I don't know what the flicker is for the check engine light, but I guess that's a resistance thing. No idea. But it's fixed. Alright, got it all back together here and ready to go back in the car. We'll put it back in tomorrow and take it for a ride. Alright, today is the day. After long awaited-ness of trying to get this done, we're finally going to drive junk, since the last time we drove drunk was the first time we drove drunk. Basically, we did some suspension upgrades and now we're ready to drive it, I think. We need to do a shakedown to see if it's going to be good. So it's still daylight, it's only like 5 something, just got home from work, and now we can drive it. So we're gonna do what we normally do, which is go get dinner. We're gonna pull it out, we're gonna run down to old Wendy's and get me some chicken nuggets. Alright, so in case my mom's watching, the seatbelt's actually in. So I know it looks sketchy down there, but I'm telling you it's not. It's bolted to the seat base. Can you see it? Yeah, it's bolted to the seat base, so it goes through nut lock washer. It goes this way through this plate, and then there's a lock nut behind it as well once it goes through the base. This side over here is going through the seat base as well. It's about as legit as you can get for $74. So AutoZone, baby, AutoZone, legal on a budget. All right, so we got our lights and we're ready to rock. So let's go do a drive around the block, see what happens. Alright, so as much as I would like to say things went well, they didn't. So junk's back in the garage where it needs to be, and we've got a problem that we're gonna have to address. I've got a couple problems we need to address. Number one, for whatever reason, when I was at the parking lot where I was supposed to go get food, I lost power to the ECU. I don't know why. I don't know how. There's obviously something in the fuse box. My guess, it could have been the relay. These are, I don't even know the brand, I can't even read it. They're China relay. I have some junkyard ones that I pulled, so you can get it from any General Motors vehicle from like the mid 2000s. So you get a handful of these, and I have a lot. These are all micro 240 relays. These aren't cheap, so I pick these up whenever I can, and they are, you know, they're the same things that I need. This one is a Song Chuang relay. I got it through Waytech. This is the second one that I believe is giving me issues. And the reason why I say all this is because this one I got out of the box dead. And I think it's that. We'll play with it more in the next couple days, whatever. I'm just happy to have the seatbelt in and happy to have driven it again. We just need to figure out the surging issue. Little quick update on the moving situation. I'm starting a new job, and I'm not gonna go into details when and whatever, but I am starting a new job, and that will enable me to do what I need to do in the future. You know, that means that, you know, I was worried that I was gonna have to sell the RSX, and you know, I was gonna run out of time of doing what I need to do. We will have plenty of time to deal with that accordingly. So in the next couple weeks here, a lot of this is gonna start disappearing, and we're gonna start filing it accordingly into its respective trash cans. That's gonna do it for this one. I think in the next video, we're gonna keep doing some more diagnostics. We are gonna try and drive this thing to work in the next week, because that's all I got. That's all I got left. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.